nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off and pain is loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Straight Talk with Joe Vollano. We start this show with a heavy heart. Over the week, we've learned of the passing of a tremendous man, someone who I've had the pleasure of knowing for the last 10, 12 years, since moving here to Meriden. Part of one of the greatest families I have ever known, the Muirs. So, we start, if you listen to the show, the music before the show, we played the Army theme because he was part of the Army. So we did that in tribute to him. Paul Charles Muir passed away. And you know what? He did it on his own terms, which is comforting to know, and to know that his family was there. So to Steve, Kristen, Karen, Josephine, his wife, I pray for you. I know everyone here sends their condolences, and I saw them tonight at the wake, and I look forward to seeing them tomorrow. But just to let you know that we're there for you. I'm there for you. If you need anything, let us know. But he was a great man, a true fighter. I mean, true fighter to the end. It's just very sad. I'm shocked by it. I definitely was not expecting it. But again, you know, he made some terrific kids, and he definitely left his mark on this earth in a positive way. And yeah, I'm like I said, I'm still in shock over the whole thing, and I just wish the family the best. And I'm deeply sorry for your loss, and you know, hopefully you have some. Obviously, you have some great memories of him. So I just hope that that is enough to keep you guys going on. But like I said, if you need anything, we're here. I love you all. Like I said, one of the greatest families I've ever met in my entire life, and I've had the pleasure of knowing them. So now that we got that out of the way, I had an interesting meeting with the city manager. But before then, as everyone knows, I am Joe Vollano. I am your host and your guiding light through all this nonsense that's going on in the world today. You know, I had an interesting conversation with someone today. We were talking about the news, and I said, you know what? I try to stay away from the news. Believe it or not, you know, how informed I try to be. I try to stay informed without watching the mainstream media, without watching, you know, cable news. I look at a ton of different sites throughout the day because, listen, you're going to get your spin on no matter which channel you put it on. So, you know, it's always good to listen to all sides and to, you know, kind of make a decision and interpretation of what's really going on by yourself. And I always encourage that. So but again, this show always works best when you guys are involved. So if you want to call in 203-697, is that supposed to be 967? No, I'm sorry, 697. I'm right. 9610. It just looked off to me today. Or if you want to email us, straighttalkjv@gmail.com. We have a lot to discuss. Like I said, I did sit down and have I think it was about a 45-minute to an hour conversation with the city manager mostly on the emergency dispatch center. But we touched on some other things also. We're going to talk about a tax relief proposal that's been floating around. We'll get into the numbers on that because I think that's pretty interesting. We are going to talk about the governor of New York resigned this week since we've talked last. So that was unexpected. I thought he was going to fight it out to the end, but obviously something happened there. We have another police survey out and about. I don't know where. I have an idea where it came from. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, where it came out. So that is out there. I know it ended up in people's news feeds this week. So I'm interested to know if you guys took it or not. And then there's a racial injustice rally on the Green next Wednesday at 10 a.m. So we're going to touch on that also. And then we're going to talk about a special guest that's going to be coming on next Thursday. At least it's tentative for next Thursday. So we have a lot to go over. I also I'll talk about someone else I ran into this week while I was having breakfast. And but let's get to the city manager meeting because I found it to be very interesting on what he said. Some things kind of contradicted, I think, what we had a conversation about a week and a half ago. So I'm still trying to get some straight answers on which is accurate and which is not. Just for instance, I was told a week and a half ago that that Ms. Price, who is the director of the emergency response, the emergency dispatch center, was not certified to take calls. That's what I was told a week and a half ago. Now I'm being told that she is certified to take calls. So my question obviously was, why the hell isn't she taking calls? I understand, and it's been reiterated to me many a times, One, it is not, she does not need to be certified to be a director. Fine, noted. But if you are certified and you know you're in the middle of a crisis, why would you not take the initiative to take some calls? Why would you not take the initiative to take some vacation time, take some of this time so people could have a couple of days off? She was already advised to help out. But obviously nobody's checking anything and see, one of the problems with City Hall is that there is no accountability for what's going on. So you'll be advised all day long, but there's no follow-up to it. Because again, I asked the question, did you verify that she was taking calls like you advised her to do? No. And it's funny because, he said that, she hasn't sat at a desk in years. So she can't just jump on into it. I said, granted, but she's been there 5 years. We've been in a crisis for a year and a half. You try to tell me in a year and a half, she didn't take the initiative to turn around as a good leader and say, hey, let me sit down with these people and get back into the swing of things so I could help out? Because he mentioned that he was an officer with a mortar battalion, and that he couldn't just jump back in there. But I asked him, I was like, if it was wartime and the shit was hitting the fan, wouldn't you jump in there at least to try to help out? He said, yeah, well, in wartime, sure. I was like, what the hell's going down there now? If that's not wartime, if we're not in an emergency, in a crisis, in the dispatch center, I don't know what is. You have 4 full-time dispatchers. If that's not a wartime crisis, if that is not it, I don't know what the hell is. It should be all hands on deck. He happened to let me know that he was a dispatcher. He used to be a dispatcher years ago. I said, great. If you're a dispatcher, go pick up a couple shifts. Go help him out. Why not? Go help out. It is all hands on deck. Now, I keep being told that firefighters are taking calls, and they're not. They're not. There were 8 that were signed up. 1 took a shift. 1. And out of the police department, only 1 person went there and observed. Nobody's taking shifts. But they keep trying to peddle this same nonsense, thinking that we're going to believe it. There's no evidence to it. Of course I'm not going to believe it. Everybody is just circling the wagons right now, hoping that we're going to go away. Honestly, that's what's going on here. If you want my honest opinion, what's going on right now is everybody's acting like they care because we have brought this to the forefront. We have brought this to the forefront. So right now they're in panic mode. They're like, okay, well, how long are they really going to keep up on this before we can sweep it back under the rug and say everything's okay? I can guarantee you we're not going away on this. We are not going away. Every call down there is recorded. Is recorded. Every single call is recorded. Every time you log into a system, it's recorded. If you are taking shifts, it's easily determined whether you are or you are not, because your ID should be on it. They're not giving us that because there are none. She has taken none. It is an absolute disgrace what is going on, but they will continue to tell you and tell me that everything is hunky-dory and that we're going to be just fine. No, we're not. And we're not going away on this. We are certainly not going away. They need help down there, and they need it now. It sounds like I wish I was a dispatcher. I would help out. But you have a city manager that used to be a dispatcher. Great. Go sit down there, learn the system, and go ahead and jump on the calls. Ms. Price should be there in the trenches with her employees. If they're working 100 hours a week, she should be working 100 hours a week. That's the way it goes. That's how being a true leader goes. I don't care if you're a salary or not. Morale is down in the dispatch center, and you wonder, and of course you know why. So I asked him, so what needs to change? And he said training. Training? Training. Training doesn't need to change. You had certified dispatchers coming in. They were already trained. They left because they didn't like the environment that was going on there. And who wouldn't? Who would walk in there and sit there and say, wait a minute, I got to work 80 hours a week to 100 hours a week, and this lady's going home at 4 o'clock, 4:30? No, screw you. I'm not doing that. Why would they? You got to be kidding me. And I mentioned, some retired dispatchers do want to come back. And some of them are not being allowed to come back. And he did mention that if they retired with a pension, then they're not being brought back. That was the rule. I was like, okay, well, in all normal circumstances, I would agree with you. But you did it for the police chief. Cassette did it. And if you're in emergency status, if you're in crisis mode, are you trying to honestly tell me that you wouldn't bring these people back? And then he said, oh, yeah, we would bring them back right now, temporarily. Then why aren't you fucking doing it? Why aren't you doing it? Why is it taking me to tell you that? Just go do it. You have at least 2 or 3 that are willing to come back and help out. So go do it. I just don't get it. They need to go do that. So any of you former dispatchers sitting out there, the city manager has told me for you to reach out to him, and he will look to getting you back. Of course, as long as you weren't terminated. Which, okay, I can see the point of that. But if you're a former dispatcher and you're looking to help out, please contact the city manager. Because now apparently they're willing to take you back. At least to help out. Anything anyone could do to help them out down there is greatly appreciated and needed. But like I said, if she is certified, she should be sitting down there taking shifts. And the city manager needs to start doing a better job of following up on his employees. Because I tell you what, if I ever told one of my guys or one of my girls, I'm advising you to do something, that's basically me saying, you should do it on your own accord before I force you to do it. But apparently, some don't care about what the city manager says. Probably because of past history where he doesn't follow up on it. So I could get directives all day long, but if I don't follow up on it, no one's going to do anything. There apparently are signing bonuses if people apply and are accepted. But apparently the training was the big issue in his eyes. And I was still trying to figure out how our public safety committee has not been meeting on this issue. Our public safety committee is still canceling month after month of their meetings. I mean, why do we have a public safety committee? Mr. Cardona, Councilman Cardona, still has not explained why they have been canceled month after month. Does he not want to do his job? If you don't want to do your job and you don't want to do what people elected you to do, then leave. It's fine. You could go. We'll get people in there that will do the job. So there's much more to come on this. Like I said, we're not going away. I know they want us to. They want us to just leave this subject alone and hopefully just go away so they could just go about their normal business. But we're going to be following up on this week after week. At the end of the day, someone's going to have to be held accountable here. And if the city manager doesn't want to hold the director accountable, then he's going to be held accountable for it. Good leadership is done with accountability. It's very, very sad and very scary because if it's happening in that department, I can only imagine what's going on in other departments. I can only imagine what kind of lack of accountability is going on. So we'll keep on it, and we'll have an update again on Sunday. So I have been seeing, there's a public survey. There's a new public safety survey going around. So I thank Jen for sending it over to me because it came into her news feed. And I have still not seen it in my news feed yet. And I would think that I would probably be one of the first ones to get something like that because I'm talking politics on my system all the time. So I'm very shocked I have not seen it yet come through my news feed, but it was sent over to me. So I'm waiting to find out who actually created this. But if you look at the survey, on it, it gives you 4 basic questions about policing in your neighborhood. But I'm more interested in the last 4 or 5, which are all demographics. And I'm sitting here trying to put 2 and 2 together. I don't think this came from the city because it doesn't look like. Well, I've talked to some on the use of force committee, and they said this isn't them. This is not the use of force committee. This is not a survey from them. At least that's what I'm told. So the point is, okay, where is it from? I have a couple of ideas where it's coming from. You ready to hear them? Okay. So my theory, because I still pride myself on knowing Democrats and liberals better than they know themselves. I do. They're so predictable. And every time I said something, I've been pretty dead on accurate. So this is what I think is going on. You have a couple of nonprofits that are very, very nervous right now that all their eggs are in the Democrat basket. And right now, I hear, and I've said this for the last couple of weeks, actually the last couple of months, that there are an awful lot of Democrats and unaffiliated in this town who are very, very nervous about this whole racial injustice nonsense, this whole identity politics. They're extremely nervous, but they don't know where it's being affected. So I believe this survey is really meant for two things. One, to find out what neighborhood you're in. And two, what is your category, I would say, of how much you make, which is going to dictate probably where you live. Whether you're Hispanic, are they losing their minorities right now? They're scared shitless right now. They are losing minorities. Democrats are hemorrhaging minorities. Not only in Meriden, but all over this country. The Hispanic population they went huge for Republicans in 2020. And I believe that the Democrats and some of these nonprofits that need Democrats to stay in business are starting to see a trend of minorities going away from Democrats and away from these liberal ideas because they're going too far left. And those Hispanics are moving more towards the center. And if they're going center, it means they're going Republican, they're going conservative. And they don't like this anti-police and this social justice nonsense that's going on. So I believe you're going to see one of two things that happen here. One, you're never going to see the results of this survey. That's just a given. You're never going to see it. But you're going to see it in their actions. Democrats are going to do one of two things. One, they're going to get that survey back, and they're going to have frightening results. That they're losing minorities, and they're going to have to do an about face, and they're going to need to step away from this anti-police, anti-racial discrimination, all this this social justice crap that they keep peddling. Or they're going to find out that, well, no, it's just a bunch of pissed off white people who make $150,000 a year who don't live in the neighborhoods we're talking about. And they're just going to ignore it, and they're going to go full straight on, full speed ahead. That's what this survey, I believe, is all about. That's what this survey is all about. They need to know where they're hemorrhaging voters. Because there's no doubt that they are. And you see it in their lack of fundraising. Look at the Democrats. I mean, again, the Democrats, you look at the Democrats where they normally are at this point in their fundraising. They're horrible. They have nothing. They have no money. If you look at where Republicans are, Republicans have a crap load of money. Like I said this a couple months ago, everything has switched in this city. Everything has done an about face, where Democrats are usually the ones with candidates' money and support, and now they have nothing. And Republicans usually are opposite. Well, now Republicans have the money, the candidates, and the support. You don't think Democrats and nonprofits are sitting there asking why? Why is that? What has changed over the last couple of years to have this switch? Of course they are. They'd be stupid if they're not. If I was a Democrat, I'd be in crisis mode. But there are a lot of old-time Democrats, the old JFK Democrats, that do not like anything that is going on now, which is why I said I'm happy that Sonia Jelks is their new majority leader, because she is a friggin' whack job, and she is going to drive that party into the friggin' ground, and I am going to enjoy watching every minute of it. Every minute of it. Because people are not stupid. They may think they are, but they're not. They're not falling for this. They know we don't have a racial problem in the city of Meriden. They know we don't have a police brutality problem in the city of city of Meriden. They know we don't because they see it. They live it every single day. And the more they do this, the more they're just pissing people off. Which brings me to my next one with this racial injustice rally that they're having on Wednesday. And I believe their target audience is for eviction protection. Let me ask you this, because I know it's easy for people to sit there and say, oh, well, we can't evict these people. Where are they going to go? These are the same people that have been given extra money every single week in their unemployment checks and their welfare checks. They've been getting extra money to pay rent, and they're still not paying it. What about the landlords that are losing their shirts and losing their houses? Nobody wants to fucking talk about them. Nobody wants to talk. These aren't rich people. People that may own a house or two are not rich people. And they can't afford for residents not to pay their rent. And when people are given extra money and still not paying the rent, why should the taxpayer sit there and fund your rent? I don't want to sit there and pay for someone who's not paying their rent, especially when I know they've been given money to do just that. So what have they been doing with that money? Do I at least get to ask that question? So, I mean, I look very much forward to attending this rally, and I will be there, and the Straight Talk cameras and microphones will be there. Because I was looking at, let me pull up the list of everybody that's attending this that's going to actually speak on this issue. Because I'm gonna, where is it? Someone sent it to me. There it is. So let's see all of our great people. Who's sitting there and doing this? So this is for eviction. So two urgent crises: eviction prevention and vaccine equality. Which I don't even know what the fuck that means. Vaccine equality. You could get a vaccine anywhere. If you live in the city of Meriden, you can walk right over to Miller Street and get the vaccine. There are tons of places to get the vaccine. So to sit there and say there's no equality in it is just stupidity. So let's see who's going to be on here. So the Honorable Kevin Scarpati is going to speak. The Honorable Sonia Jelks, of course, is going to speak. Dawn Parker from Director of Unite Connecticut. Very interesting to hear about that. Donna DeCorio, Director of New Opportunities. Tim Kuhn is going to speak. Why is our city manager speaking? What does our city manager have to do with that? That's very interesting to me. Why are any politicians speaking at this? Lee Crown, Director of Health and Human Services for the city of Meriden. Michael Rohde. Oh, he's not doing this. He's not doing this as his as on his role of councilman. He's Director of Community Relations, the Community Health Center. Oh, so that's where he's looking at his. And then we have Ray Highsmith, Community Relations Specialist for Hartford Healthcare. You know, it's funny. I'll get into this in a second. I don't want to get ahead of myself because, you know, I'm starting to see, you know, I always say follow the money, and the money will always tell you, you know, what kind of bullshit they're trying to peddle you. So we'll go over that in a second. But I am very interested to see what our political leaders are saying about these issues. So like I said, the Straight Talk cameras and microphones will be there to make sure that we get every word of what they're saying. So we can sit there and determine, you know, what are they trying to be political on this or what? So we'll find out. We'll see. But I was sitting there just looking at this guy. I saw Michael Rohde, Director of Community Relations for Community Health Center. And I'm looking at, all these different groups. All these different groups that have now infiltrated the city council. And this is kind of off topic. This it's just something that I've just noticed over the time, and this just kind of sparked this, so I want to talk about it. So if we look at Michael Rohde, so he works for Community Health Center. They get money from the city. Lou Graham is executive director of Boys and Girls Club, gets money from the city. Crystal Blake has just been made assistant executive director of the Boys and Girls Club. Again, another, the same place that gets money from the city. Side note, LaRue Graham, just to show you how corrupt our system is and how ludicrous everything really is. LaRue Graham is actually part of a committee that distributes grants from the city of Meriden to his own friggin' group. To his own group. So he gets to vote on grant money that goes to the Boys and Girls Club. Tell me where the conflict of interest is there. Does anyone see a conflict of interest there? Anyone? I mean, granted that I keep hearing that the Boys and Girls Club is being run right into the ground, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, Lou Graham, he is about incompetent as they come. And he's not even here half the time. Which is why, I'm sure, is why he brought in Crystal Blake. He brought in Crystal because she's gonna end up taking his job when he leaves. That's why I have no idea why he's running for city council. He told everybody that he wasn't running for city council. And then he told us that, they begged and pleaded. The Democrats begged and pleaded for him to run. Because they know no one else could beat Joey 3, Joe Carabetta. So they begged him to run. Yes, that's the person I want running for a city office. People aren't stupid. People are seeing right through this nonsense. But again, are you trying to tell me that someone who is running a nonprofit who benefits from the grants has the ability to vote on where those grants go? Only in Meriden, ladies and gentlemen, only in Meriden can you see nonsense and bullshit like that. So, and then you got Mr. Cardona, Deputy Mayor Cardona. He works for the Board of Ed, which I really don't have an issue with as long as he doesn't vote for Board of Ed stuff. But none of them sustain. That's the crazy part, Mike, is that none of them do. None of them sustain from it. Because, I got a call from the Record Journal, and they asked me for my opinion on Ken Morgan running for city office, for city council. Now, if anyone who does not know, Ken Morgan is the current fire chief for the city of Meriden, so he's the director of one of the city's departments. And they asked me what I felt about it. And I told them, I was like, listen, does he have the right to run as a citizen of Meriden? Yes. And I would never deny anybody the opportunity to run, if they live in the city. Now, if he wins, which I have absolutely 90% chance that he's not going to win. Because I think Bob Williams is a much better candidate than Ken Morgan is. If he wins, he would need to resign or retire from the fire department for multiple reasons. One, when the city manager is out, he is the acting city manager. How can you be acting city manager and a councilman at the same time? You can't. You can't. It's a huge conflict of interest. Huge. And if anyone who does not see that is either blind and stupid or just completely uninformed of how our city runs, this would probably be less of an issue if we had a strong mayor instead of the city council. if the mayor had all the power or more or most of the power and the city council was just a check and balance, we could probably have a different discussion about it. But since we are not, there is no way in hell that anyone could see that that is an okay situation to have a director of a city department as a city councilman. As employees, fine. Just as long as you sustain from doing anything that would vote on anything that would have to do with your department, which should happen now with a lot of them. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to come on just that issue alone. But does he have the right to run? Yes, he does. He does. Now, I also hear that my good friend Ernestine Holloway. Haven't heard that name in a while. My dear, dear friend Ernestine Holloway. She has, I guess, made it to the ballot for mayor. Now, I know she's under investigation for her previous campaigns, and I heard it's not going too well for her. But listen, just because I don't agree with you, I do like the fact, and again, I don't agree with anything she really says because I think she's a friggin' whack job. I think she's an opportunist. And every time you don't agree with her or you go against her, all of a sudden you're a racist. So I don't play that shit. So for that, I have no respect for her. But at the same time, do I love the political process, and do I love the fact that everybody has the right to have their voices heard, no matter how crazy it may sound. I like the fact that everybody has a voice. And I will always fight to protect that. So I welcome her to the mayor's race. I welcome her. Because, at the end of the day, we'll let the voters decide. The voters will decide where they want to take this city. Do they want to take this city the way the Democrats are taking it, where they're just trying to segment everybody into playing identity politics and put everyone into boxes based on race, based on income? I mean, 'cause that's what they're doing. So do the Meriden people want to see that? Or do the Meriden citizens want to see us go in a different direction? And I think Elaine Cariotti, who's running for mayor, put out a really good piece the other day. Because, I like the fact that people are thinking outside the box. And I always look for ways to try, and I love seeing where people try to save the taxpayers' money. And there's a proposal going around right now on Facebook about car taxes, because we live in a crazy time where, due to artificial metrics and factors that have put themselves in play in our economy, you've seen used car prices skyrocket. And now you're seeing the fact that your value of your used car is, instead of depreciating every year, for 17% of Meriden residents, they see them go up. And that should never happen. Unless it's a collectible, that should never happen. Nobody's buying a car as an investment. 99% are not. So the proposal that's being floated out there is for the city council to make a resolution to have the tax assessor cap your car taxes at the previous year's rate. So if you paid $300 last year, you cannot go over 300 this year. And for 17% of the population in the city of Meriden, that would put money back in their pockets, where it belongs. So she's not even mayor yet. And she's putting forth out-of-the-box solutions for a problem that's been plaguing Meriden taxpayers for a while. That's what we need, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that what we need? Now it's up to the council. What is the council going to do with it? Did the council want you to have your money back? Or do they want to keep it so they can spend it frivolously like they've been doing? Because they shouldn't need it. Because we got $26 million coming from the federal government. So we don't need the money there. Give the money back to the people. Give it back to the people where it belongs. The Meriden taxpayer has been taken advantage of year after year for decades. Here is an opportunity to fix that. And it came from a candidate. Those are the type of people I want to see holding office. Because she could have easily held on to that. She could have easily held on to that idea. But no. She wants to see the council take action now. So she put it out there. And I think it's a terrific idea. It's a terrific idea. And I hope our city leaders, our city representatives, take that idea and put it to good use by passing it and giving 17% of Meriden taxpayers some relief that's well deserved. If you agree with that, you should be contacting your city councilman or woman right now. Right now. If you saw a decrease, great. You got your decrease. Some people got no change. But for 17% of the population, 17% of the taxpayers, they saw an increase. And they shouldn't have. So again, reach out to them. Because remember, I can sit here and talk about this all day long. Unless everybody here is working together and pushing the what we're doing to their council people, nothing's going to change. We're just going to sit here and have a powwow for every Sunday and Thursday. Now, for those who don't know, the council is coming back to live on Monday. And that is going to be at Lincoln Middle School in the auditorium. It's usually where they have the debates. So it's a wide open area, plenty of social distancing. I think it should be perfect for holding city council meetings. And that's on August 16th, like I said, at Lincoln Lincoln Middle School at 6:30. We've all asked for this. Now we all got to be there. We all have to be there. And you need to be sitting there and voicing your opinion and voicing your concerns to the council. I look forward to being there. So I will be there with bells on, maybe even a bow tie. So that's something that everyone needs to attend. You've been asking for it. We've got it back. Let's take advantage of it. We're running out of time here. It's already quarter to 8. We do have a special guest coming on for next Thursday. Well, it's tentative for next Thursday. So Mayor Scarpati will be here on the show next Thursday, the 19th. So Keith, it's August 16th, 6:30, Lincoln Middle School. The Honorable Mayor Kevin Scarpati tentatively will be here on Thursday, the 19th. So we look forward to welcoming him to the show. And again, if you have questions for him, by all means, email us your questions, and we'll make sure we ask him. Obviously, I'll screen the questions, and we'll ask him some questions, and we're going to talk about a lot of things that are going on in the city. We're going to talk about COVID-19, which this whole thing's killing me with this COVID crap. Right now, they're closely watching it, and they're holding off on any citywide mask mandate. Now, you know what liberals love to copy each other. So when big cities do things, the little cities want to kind of jump into the action with it, and they have a tendency to just follow suit of what daddies in the other towns say. So there is conversation going on because the mayor finds it very troubling that we've had an increase in COVID-19. But nobody's getting really sick about it. And if we look at, let's see how many cases we had. So Harvard Healthcare had 52 COVID-19 patients, and 14 of those were vaccinated already. And out of all those 52, 13 of them were in critical care units, and 2 of them were vaccinated. So, everyone knows how I feel about the vaccine. I identify as a vaccinated person, so that's where I'll hold on mine. But no, I am not for mask mandates. I will not follow a mask mandate. I wouldn't follow a mask mandate last time, and I will not do it again. So they can take their mask mandate and shove it up there, you know what. That's how I look at it. So it's very disturbing. They're starting to lose their little power grabs, and they're starting to freak out, and they want to just be able to reach back and grab it again. So, yes, it is. Someone had just messaged me. So yes, it is a new filler up shirt. They're in black this time. I realized my other ones were getting way too dirty. So my filler up shirts are now black, except for my t-shirts. My t-shirts are still the greenish blue, which is my Miami Dolphins colors. So yes, we had just talked about that, Dan. He said that the emergency, with all the issues in the emergency center, the public safety meeting was canceled. Yes, as always. But what else is new? So it's very troubling that no one's taking it seriously, Dan. And listen, and people are going to lose their crap when something happens in the city. Just look at the 911 call. Just look at the dispatcher from the Chicago shooting of the 2 police officers. God rest their souls. If you listen to it, you listen to that dispatcher, that's the kind of things that go on all the time. And they're expected to keep that kind of composure through the whole thing. Imagine trying to do that on hour 70, 80, 90, 100 in 1 week. Imagine trying to keep that composure. Imagine trying to keep all those things going on in your head and trying to keep everybody safe. It's extremely hard. But we'll talk about that more on Sunday. So we have 2 fundraisers coming up that I want to talk about. One, the Lane for Meriden campaign. They have a cocktail party tomorrow night You can get tickets. You go to the Lane for Meriden website or Facebook page and get info there. And then you have the Mayor Scarpati has his fundraiser, his campaign kickoff coming up at the Doghouse. So if you're interested in going to that, like I said, listen, I'm a conservative. Everyone knows where I stand. But this show is Straight Talk. And again, my whole point of this show is to make sure that all voices are heard. Both sides. Both sides. And everybody will be treated fairly. And we will have some great discussions. But everybody gets fair treatment here at Straight Talk. So if you're interested in going to Mr. Scarpati's a kickoff, it's at the Doghouse. I am trying to find the date. I thought I had it. Somebody has sent it to me again, and I can't remember where I saw it, and I feel like an idiot because now I'm sitting here trying to find it. So if anybody has it, the Mayor Scarpati, whatchamacallit, then please post it. I know it's towards the end of the month. And I'm going to try one more time to try to find it. I cannot. But I will post it. It's the 25th. Thank you, Tanya. 25th. So over at the Doghouse in over on Broad Street. So if you want to go to the Kevin Scarpati, the mayor's kickoff, then it is that day. But if you want to go to Elaine for the Lane for Meriden fundraiser tomorrow night, you go to her page, Elaine for Meriden on Facebook, or you can pick it up. I know they're having it at a couple, I think, downtown coffee shop. You can get tickets in a couple other places. Or just reach out to any Republican that you might know. You can reach out to me too, and I'll be able to help you out. So a lot going on. You know, we're going to get very busy the next couple months. Tanya, I ran into your father-in-law tonight, so it's always nice to see Mr. Cardona. Of course, you can't see his mustache with his mask on, but it is always great running into him. I ran into the Secretary of Education this week over at the coffee shop. So we had a nice conversation. He did ask how the podcast was going, and we are going to try to schedule time for him to come on, whether it's here or somewhere else. So always nice that he takes the time to stop in and visit Meriden businesses. He was there a couple days ago, so I had the opportunity to have a conversation with him. And listen, look, we both know we agree to disagree. We had the discussion that, it's okay for us to disagree with each other. He has his position and his agenda that he needs to push. And, I just happen to have a different version that I want to push. So at the end of the day, we could all agree to disagree, but, he's a great guy. Again, comes from another one of these great families in the city. I love the Cardonas. Like I said, I saw Hector earlier this evening, and I look forward to having coffee or something with him in the next couple weeks so we can have some discussion. But again, a great family. For some of them, I don't know, how they gotten to where they are with their far left-leaning views lately. But, to each their own, and we can sit there and debate them respectfully. So, and I always like when we do that. So, with that said, I am going to leave you with that. We are going to meet again here on Sunday. We have a lot more to discuss. We haven't even gotten to the federal stuff yet. So, we ran out of time. We have the Governor Cuomo resigned from governor of New York. So over his scandal with, I guess he's groping a ton of women, I guess. I don't know. So I guess I haven't really followed it all that much because I really don't care about what's going on in New York. I care about really what's going on here in the state. So we'll keep track of it, and we'll do some highlights of it, and we'll go from there. But until then, I love you all. You know I absolutely love it when everyone comes together and is informed and gets informed. But we could all sit here all night and talk about facts, but unless we're taking them out there and sharing them within our circle of influence, you know, it's just us and 30 people, and by the time the end of the week, a couple thousand people just shooting the shit. So we need to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to make the positive change. And we're going to go over, I keep getting emails about our opening song. I keep getting emails about our opening song and why I have chosen that song. Some people like it, some people hate it. And I don't get it. So we're going to talk about that on Sunday. We're going to break that damn song down, because if you don't understand why we have that song as our theme song and as our opening song, you're going to need to be educated on it. Because I want you to listen as we close this show out tonight, and as I always do, I always play it at the end of the show too. Actually listen to the words and understand why that is perfect for what we are. We are the resistance. We are the voices of the unheard, but when brought together, we do rock it out. And obviously, we know it's working because they all tell me that they're listening. They're listening out there. But it's up to everybody to make sure that they hear us and listen to us loud and clear. Because as one person, we're nothing. But as everyone together, we are as loud as a hurricane. So until Sunday, I love you. God bless you. And God bless this city. And God bless this great country of ours, the United States of America. I love you guys. I will see you all on Sunday.
And the million faces formed together, made for elevation. And the soldier won't surrender. Faith is like a fire that never burns to embers. The voice of the unheard. Love is the answer.
I gotta speak it, believe it, that's how I feel inside.
I can't sit here quiet.
You can take my heart, you can take my breath when you pry it from the cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. Can you hear me? Are you listening? Sleeping and the shadows could be making history. Through the fire, on the water, used to be a slave, but now you are a conqueror.
They can take my heart, they can take my breath when they pry it from the cold dead chest.
This is how we rise up. Heavy as a hurricane, louder than a freight train. This is how we rise up. Heart is beating faster, feels like thunder. Magic static, call me a fanatic. It's our world, they can never have it. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance, you can't resist us. We're rising up, rising up, we're rising up, rising up, we're rising up. This is how we rise up. It's our resistance. You can't resist.